You can feel the energy inside this building and also across the street. The NFL Draft has finally arrived.
With the first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select.
And so it is. The assumed is really happening.
Welcome back. This is the People's GM channel. I am the People's GM. In case you don't know what we do here, we take over your favorite, my favorite, somebody's favorite NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, professional sports franchises as a general manager. This week, leading up to the NFL Draft, very exciting, doing all 32 NFL teams and what they should be doing. Luckily for us, this is powered by the PFF 2021 NFL Draft Simulator, which anybody can use. Do yourself a favor, go over there and check it out because it is awesome. Just finished up the AFC East. We've moved on to the AFC North. First up is the Cincinnati Bungles, aka the Cincinnati Bengals. They're never going to make the playoffs, never going to do anything, but now I'm in charge, so let's get after it. How do we get this team into the playoffs and eventually Super Bowl champs? Let's take a look at the two deep. Obviously, Joe Burrow, number one pick overall last year. Super exciting. Played in 10 games, had a 65% completion rate, 13 touchdowns, 5 picks. Super exciting, and doing it without a lot of help. Joe Mixon banged up the last couple years. Tyler Boyd really coming on. A.J. Green is gone. We got T. Higgins. We got Auden Tate. We got Drew Sample at tight end. Again, we're going to be looking. Riley Reef, we got some pieces here on the offensive side of the ball, but this is the dude, Joe Burrow. We're going to build around this guy. Let's see how we can get better. Defensively, not a ton to work with. Again, we've got some players here, but overall, we've got to find starters. Lots of them. They've got to be quality. They're not going to stick around long term. So if we get them as rookies, we got 4 or 5 years to make it work. So let's go. Let's dive right in. Let's start the draft. We got our first pick at number 5. Let's see what happens. Now, here is what's exciting. So here's what worked out. Quarterbacks at the top 3. Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, goes to Atlanta Falcons. Pretty surprising there. We're sitting at number 5. We got Penei Sewell, the top offensive lineman in the draft. Probably the best tackle we've seen in a long time. Look at that grade in 2019. Opted out, didn't play in 2020. No worries, he's a physical freak. We've got Kyle Pitts, the weird. Is he a tight end? Is he a receiver? Is he a freak? Is he going to be great? Is he going to be a bust? Nobody knows. And then we've got Jamar Chase, a little Joe Burrow connection there from LSU, and we've got Jalen Waddle. So right up front, we've got 4 picks offensively. That would be huge. Let's take a look at what the trade is here. Okay, so it looks like the Detroit Lions are trying to move up to number 5. Now, usually I'd say, hey, you know what, we're at number 5. We want a player, but here's the good news. We can drop back 2 picks. We've clearly got 4 in kind of our wheelhouse of what we're interested in. So let's see what we can extract out of them. If you've watched the channel, you know we love to bamboozle. We got to get at least 3 for 1. We need that value. Let's see what happens. Didn't fall for it. Let's see if they give us a round 2, pick 7, pick 41. That'd be huge. Get us 3 picks in the top 50. Didn't go for that. Let's try a 3rd rounder next year. We're not going away. There it is. Let's go now. Now, again, we're not a year away. I'd love to tell you we're a year away. Didn't cover this. Meant to. 4-11-1. We're not 1 draft away. I wish we were. We're going to be a lot closer when I'm done here. But again, we've got to build towards the future. So we've got Detroit's 3rd rounder next year, which is going to be great. We got pick 7 and pick 41. Let's resume the draft and see what happens. Great news for us. Detroit moved up to take Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase. Would have loved to have him. But here's the good news. Joe Burrow hit last year a lot. Here's the point. We're not moving back. Doesn't matter what these guys try to offer us. We've got the number 1 tackle still on the board. We've got the number 1 tight end. We've got the number 1 linebacker. I mean, there's just too many good options. With that, the pick is in. No surprise here. Penei Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon, coming home to Cincinnati. Let's go. Good news is we've got 2 picks out of 4 right now, 38 and 41. So we're going to take a look and see how we can get better. Great news for us. A lot of good options here. Zaven Collins, number 3 rated linebacker out of Tulsa. Z Ojore, number 2 or number 3 rated defensive end, which is great. Again, you look at our needs. Defensive end is on there, guard, tackle, and wide receiver. Now, Terrace Marshall, again, super productive in college. 7 games, 48 receptions. Look at that, 15.2, 10 touchdowns in 7 games. He's also an LSU Tiger, knows our boy, Joe Burrow. So with that said, the pick is in. No surprise here. Let's reunite those two. Get our guy another weapon on the outside. Terrace Marshall Jr., come on home to Cincinnati. Now, what happened in front of us? Landon Dickerson, center out of Alabama. That's great. Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. We're back on the clock. We've got another trade offer to move back to 68. No way. You're crazy. Look at this. We've got Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. We got Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia. We've also got Jamin Davis, another linebacker who's special out of Kentucky. So another bunch of great options for us. That being said, this isn't a hard one for us. The pick is in. Azeez Ojulari, Georgia defensive end. Come on home to Cincinnati. Now, again, we've got, let's see here, 6 picks left in this draft. We've got to find 6 more players that are going to contribute right now and over the long term. Now, what we want to do is take a look at what we have. So this is our big board that we set up ahead of time, right? But let's go ahead and take a look. We've already gotten that tackle position taken care of, but let's look at that inside offensive line and see what's out there. So we've got Creed Humphrey, we've got Trey Smith, we've got Ben Cleveland. There are a lot of good options here. Now let's look back at the big board. Again, Creed Humphrey, number 3 on our big board. McNeil's a dynamic defensive tackle. Creed Humphrey, though, center out of Oklahoma, could slide over to guard for us. Makes a ton of sense here. But McNeil, again, line of scrimmage resetter on the nose. So, again, this is a guy that's going to play for a long time, really help anchor that defensive side of the ball. With that being said, the pick is in. We are going to take Creed Humphrey. We've just got to protect that investment that we have on that offensive side of the ball. He's going to help us run. He's going to protect Joe on the pass. It just makes sense. So here we are, pick 111 coming up. We've got 4 more picks after this, so 5 total. We've got to continue to get better. Now, here's a great thing. We're looking for weapons. We're looking for offensive players. We're also looking at, can we get some more draft capital? So here's the deal. Ben Cleveland, super high on our list. There it is. Phone booth guard his size. Well in pass protection. So again, 6'6", 335. Got to get a little bit more flexible, things like that. So this is a great option available. But then also we got another wide receiver. We got a running back that we like. We got Sam Fihako, who's a physical freak. We got Justin Hilliard, a linebacker that could come in and start for us day one. We've got a ton of good options here. Let's go. There it is. The pick is in. Let's get better. Ben Cleveland, offensive guard out of Georgia. Come on home. So, again, here's the deal. You know, this is a team that we're not 2 players away. We're not 10 players away necessarily from a Super Bowl. But what we are is we're going to get better with every single one of these picks. Now, let's take a look and see what else we got here. So, one of those things, we've kind of addressed these needs. Let's take a look at a position that I think is going to have some value here late. Safety and potentially linebacker. So let's take a look at what we have. We've got Ernest Jones out of South Carolina. Again, rare stack and shed ability for a linebacker. Not great in coverage, but again, can we get him a little looser in the hips? Jameen Sherwood, same thing, right? New age overhang linebacker, kind of a tweener. You know, he's a guy that we can maybe put in the nickel package. Versatile, going to help in coverage. Again, one of those guys, you know, that could be great in this style of NFL that we're dealing with these days. Sean Davis, another guy. Didn't grade out great this year, but a player, senior, played on a great defense. If you've watched the channel, you know I'm a big fan of a lot of these guys. But looking down here, there's one a little bit further on the big board, Garrett Wallow, Now, again, they're saying 6th round. We're a little bit early for that. We're in the 5th. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to exit out, but here's the deal. He's not going to wow in coverage, but he's solid, and he can run that defense. 6'2", 230 senior. A lot of interesting options here. With that being said, the pick is in. It is Garrett Wallow, linebacker out of TCU. Gonna make us better. Gonna contribute right away on that defensive side of the ball. Let's go. We've got 3 picks to go. They're late in the draft. This is where championship teams are made. And again, this is where championship GMs differentiate themselves. Now, this would be easy to go ahead and say, you know what, let's just step right out. What do we need to do here? We got 4 trades on the table. They want us to move back to 197. That's a 7-pick drop. You know, at this point, here's what's funny. There's a few guys that we're really interested in, and I just don't think they're going to be available 7 picks from now. With that being said, here's our target. The pick is John Bates, tight end out of Boise State. Again, John Bates is a guy right there. All around solid. He's not dominant. 6'6", 256, but here's what he is. We can keep him in the block. We can protect Joe Burrow. We can give him a safety blanket. He's just a guy that makes sense building out this offense the way we want to. So here we are, late in the draft, 6th round, pick 18. And here's one of the things. If you've watched any of these, you know when I see this guy this late, it's a no-brainer. Christian Uphoff, player out of Illinois State. Again, playmakers come in all shapes and sizes. They come from schools of all shapes and sizes. Didn't get to get any game film this year, but you see that drastic improvement. He's a guy that's going to come in, contribute on that defensive side of the ball, contribute on all our special teams. He's a guy that you want on your team, you want in your locker room. It just makes sense. Last pick coming up. Now, if you haven't seen one of these before, we will get graded at the end. Individual picks, trades, all of that stuff get graded individually, and then we'll have an overall grade that PFF will give us. Again, this is a solid draft. We're out here getting better front to back, top to bottom. Now, Michael Bennett, center out of Penn State. Again, middling grading profile, physical tools, okay. Yeah, you know, maybe not a starter, but maybe a guy that does come in, spot plays where he needs to. Kind of the same thing with Tommy Doyle, KJ Britt as well. Now, Tony Poggen's an interesting tight end option, as well as Jason Pinnock, cornerback out of Pittsburgh. So again, see his kind of middling grade here. He's 6', 200. He's a senior. You would have liked to see a little bit more production. Now, if we go down just a little bit in terms of schools, so we're going to go look at Appalachian State right there. Slot-only NFL player. Instincts could have success there, right? So again, it's one of those things, 5'11", 190, not too small, not giant, terrific right through the receiver. So again, is this a guy that's a starter for us at corner? Probably not. But again, we're talking about the 7th round. We're talking about guys that are going to struggle to make that roster. So we want to find one of these guys that says, hey, I can make the roster. I can be a situational player. I'm going to play those special teams, and I'm going to be great at that. With that being said, the pick is in. It is Gene Charles out of Appalachian State, cornerback. Now, let's see what PFF has to say about our draft. I'm feeling pretty stinking good, but again, we will see. So right off the bat, we traded out of number 5. We went to 7. We got 41. We got a 3rd rounder for next year. B+. Again, I would have given myself an A there. I feel like that's pretty good. 2 spots back. We got a 3-for-1. If you watch the channel, you know I love to get at least that 3-for-1. Good news is we traded 2 back. We still got our top offensive target. Would have loved to get one of those top 3 receivers, but here's the deal. It doesn't matter who's at receiver if we can't protect the quarterback. So we got probably the best offensive line prospect in the last 5 years. Definitely the best one in this draft. We put him there. He's there. We're going to have him there for the next 12 years, and he's going to protect Burrow, which is great. Speaking of Burrow, we got his dude, Terrace Marshall Jr., get it reunited, put him out there with Boyd and Higgins. Let's see what they can do. Then we went over to that other side of the ball. We got that defensive end out of Georgia. Great pedigree. Got to come in and be a starter for us right away. Creed Humphrey, again, maybe a little bit of a reach from a need standpoint, but again, we've got to protect this franchise quarterback. So yes, we took 3 offensive linemen with our top 5 picks because that's how important this dude is. You've seen how this NFL goes. You cannot win without a quarterback, and you can't win if your quarterback's not on the field. So yeah, Creed Humphrey, Ben Cleveland being available at 111 is great. Again, just puts us in a position where it's like, dag nabbit, let's build out that interior of the offensive line. Garrett Wallow, and again, another guy, he's not everything you want, but what he is he's a trustworthy guy. He's going to help that defense be better. He's going to help stop the run. He's going to help us get the ball, give us an opportunity, put us in a position to win. Same thing here. Wow, a little bit harsh. I would have given some B's here. John Bates again. That was more of a, we need to shore up that tight end room again. You go back to that tight end depth. We don't have a ton there. We've got to see if we can find a playmaker there. 190. That makes a ton of sense to me. Uphoff. PFF doesn't love him. I do. I think this kid's going to be a stinking player. Again, he's a great locker room guy. He's going to help those special teams. He's going to push for some playoff time. And same thing with Gene Charles out of Appalachian State. So here's what we got with these two guys. We've got tenacious, good off the field guys who are fast and furious. So it's going to be great. We're going to bring some pop to that defensive backfield. We've got some upfront guys, and we built that offensive line in and out. Overall, no surprise. Yet again, another A for the People's GM. A- overall for the Cincinnati Bengals. This was the 2021 Cincinnati Bengals mock draft brought to you by the People's GM. I'm just out here making moves that make sense. We're building a championship roster. No, we're not there yet. But can we build off this 4-11? You bet we can. Now, again, we're in a division here with the Ravens, Browns, who made a nice little playoff run, as well as the Steelers, who aren't going away anytime soon. So not only are we going to have a hard time getting out of that division, let alone the conference, but again, we made a huge step in the right direction. Again, overall A-. Good draft for us here. Teeny bit of capital for next year. Makes a ton of sense. This is our series with the AFC North, which we're going to be finishing up. And again, we're going to have all 32 teams, mock drafts as well as draft reviews coming next week. But this week on Thursday, 8 p.m., going live to give our feedback on what we think is happening with the draft. So that's 8 p.m. Eastern. This is the People's GM channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next time.